All right, we are back for day 9. It is wonderful to be here. I let my hair down today. Yeah, sometimes I like to tie it up and get it super like intense and focus and that kind of stuff. But today I just letting it down, feeling good, feeling a little bit more relaxed. I had a couple great sessions today, so at about 1 today, I did therapy with my therapist, Natalie, which was awesome. I'll definitely be jumping a lot into all the things that we discussed, but I always actually look forward to therapy now. It's not something that I used to do very often, I guess. It was just more like, okay, planned it, doing it. But like nowadays, it's just because I think so much about the stuff that we talk about, and it's like there's so much philosophy going on in my life. So just being able to discuss it with someone who studied the human brain and all kind of stuff means a lot to me. So it's great. And then on the other side, I had another session with the child L. I guess I'll usually just use their first name, and her sister H, and both of them were just like so cute and so hilarious, and we just have so much fun. So I actually teach them French. So today we did some like of the things that we added was actually the different seasons or saison in French it is, and there's actually like 4 seasons, right? So there's spring, summer, fall, winter, right? Imagine I was trying to teach them it in French and I couldn't even remember in English. So there's the four seasons, but it was so cute because Elle, who's the younger one, she's actually 3 years old, and she's so excited whenever she like repeats the same words as me now. So that, like I'll be like, okay, it's winter and it's hiver, and then she'll be like hiver, she's like say it so excited and so like loud and like but she was saying how she really loves winter and it's her favorite because it's cold and she likes when it's cold. And then her sister really liked it when it was summer because it was hot. And then I said that I my favorite is fall because that's like when my birthday is and it's like nice weather. I like just the 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 feeling of it and everything. And then so she throughout the whole thing, being 3 even, she like remembered that. She was like, "Oh, I'm like, okay, hiver," and she's like, hiver, because I love it, and like, and then I would be like, okay, été, which means summer, and she's like, oh, that's because H loves it so much, and it was just so amazing to see, kind of like, even at such a young age, they're able to like process so many different things, and especially like learning a brand new language. One of the cutest things is that she can't do the hiver, the like R at the end. So she'll go Iveg, like, and say like a G, Iveg, and then it's like for orange she goes au grand, like she just like can't say the rolling of the R, just being so young and stuff, and it's so cute, and I'm just like trying not to be like, oh my god, you're so cute and hilarious. It's more so just like her like, and her trying her best is very very great as well. So I'm just like really impressed with her, and there's certain words that I can't even believe that she remembers from like days ago and stuff. Like even just being like, just counting the numbers. So even just going through like un, deux, trois, quatre, cinq, six. I love how she says some of them. So I'm like quatre, and then she's like quatre. It's like so cute. And then cinq, six. She always goes six. And then set, huit, neuf, and then 10 is like a big celebration for us both because it's all the way from 1 to 10, and we just like are so hyped. And so I really try and get like her engaged and her excited about that. So we're learning about different body parts. It's like the head, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and then going through that. And then she's been really like doing well with that. Her favorite is the sourcils, which is actually meaning like your eyebrows. So the first time that I was trying to show her any of like the body parts, I was like, okay, les yeux, the eyes, it's the eyes. Oh, it's the nose. And I kept like trying to do those ones. And she's like, what about eyebrows? And she just kept asking like every one. I was like, when are you going to use eyebrows ever? And then in one of the French videos, they like highlighted eyebrows like specifically, and she got so excited. So I don't know what it is about her and eyebrows, but she loves it. And even for myself, like that was one of the things that they said about my um, similarity to my grandfather. Not on my gongong, but my yeye, which is like my on my dad's side, and they always said that I had the same eyebrows as him. Whatever that means, you know. So I guess they were prominent and large like mine, but they were saying how it was so similar to him that that was like the first thing that they would see. And I'm like, if they're huge, I guess. And then I saw his, and they were like whiskers that like came out like huge, like coming out, and they were like gray, and like it was so like I was like, what the? Those don't look like mine at all. But I mean, whatever. But yeah, she was the little girl was just so obsessed with eyebrows, and just being able to see her say it for the first time was like so cute. She was so excited, and it just made me so happy to be able to like share that knowledge and share that. So I've been doing that every single Wednesday for the last like month and a bit. And I was seeing the two kids on Wednesdays. I was just actually visiting the house, and I had to wear a mask and a face shield when I was inside with the kids, and that was like not enjoyable at all. And then outside, I had to wear the mask still, and it was like the N95 one, so they're already so hard to breathe. And then so when the face shield was on, it would like just like get so I guess blurry or whatever, foggy or whatever. And so I was just like, oh, this is so, and it's so hard to like engage with them. But it was so funny the first time that we ended up going on live, like on Zoom. I ended up showing up for the Zoom, and then she'd only seen me with this, right? So she actually didn't know. Like, imagine this is all you've seen every single time. You've only seen this, and then now you see like huge, like my whole beard. Like her face was like she didn't even know that I had a beard. I think, you know. So it was just such a surprise and pretty hilarious to see her face for that. Yeah, but it was great. I love being able to still connect to kids and stuff like that, and just being able to have that engaging class and get excited about that. Obviously, she's really young, so it's very vocabulary based. We don't really get to like do too much conversation stuff, but down the road, I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. And then I also, like I mentioned before, I got to speak to my therapist today, which was awesome. You know, like a lot of these vlogs, I talk about like philosophy or like growth or like self-worth, inner child, like all of this kind of stuff. So it's just I love it. I love being able to have these discussions with my therapist, seeing her perspectives. She's very good at not imposing too much of her own concepts on things. It's very like it's their psychotherapy, right? So it's like very much like allowing us to question things or talk things through. And her questions always set me up for some really great things. So one of the things that we talked about today was dreams. Last week she told me to start writing down some of my dreams, and it was so interesting because there was so many of them that were very telling. And the one we analyzed today was like, I was like, holy shit. It was like so powerful. Okay, so I'll read you out exactly what I wrote on the dream analysis, I guess, in that way. So it actually was so earlier in the day, before I took this nap, I had felt like I really needed to have like a really good cry. It's been, like been a really long time since I had a good cry. And that's just like it's not like a new thing. I just always knew that sometimes it just like builds up and the frustrations and things like that. And I never just like let it all go in a good cry, you know. And I talked about that previously. And then I ended up doing having a nap. And then in my nap, I ended up showing up I was at a poetry venue that I hadn't been to in a long time. And like things felt very nostalgic, very like connected to my past. And then at one point, I ended up, I was with my two friends. I was with Annie and Silva, and we were walking into this venue, and it felt really nice, very like uplifting, exciting. I was like hyped about this. And then as something, I think I like performed or I was on something, and then they were gone. I didn't know where Silva and Annie were. And then so I was walking away from the venue, and I felt like it was like kind of ending or whatever. And I just broke down like crying, like in the middle of this, like I guess like walking out of the venue, but like in the middle of the entire like kind of foyer area where it was like, and I just started crying and bawling, and like I was like I actually like went onto the ground and I was like crying, and like all of these like girls, it felt like they were like some type of hype team or cheerleaders or something like that. They were like really kind, and they were just like hey, like, are you okay? Like, are you doing well? Or like, why are you crying? Did you need some help or whatever? And like, I was like, no, I think I'm okay. Thank you so much. Like, and I just like, I just need a good cry or whatever. So I just kept crying. And then, I don't remember exactly what happened after that, but then it was like the end of the dream, right? And I was just like, wow, like I woke up and I felt like I wasn't crying like in physically, but I felt like I had that cry that I needed to a certain extent, right? And it was like very powerful. And so we in the therapy session started talking about like breaking it down a little bit, like what was the different steps inside of this. And this was actually last week before I did my poetry slam. So I think that was directly connected with actually walking into this nostalgic experience, walking into this like venue that I would like recognize really well. You know, even though it was on Zoom, it still had a lot of like the same like people or players, I guess, from my past in terms of like poetry slams and stuff. And I was walking in with like my new crew, like the two people who support me the most in my poetry has been Annie as well as Silva. And Silva actually coached me for the poem that I had shared on that, which was really powerful, and I really appreciated that. And then Annie has also been very helpful with my mental health and things like that. So it's just was so great. I had them with me, and then I walked into the venue and the experience of it all. And then when I came back out of it, like I couldn't find them. I didn't know where they were. But it felt like I wasn't like searching for them. It just felt like it was still like connected in that way. And then my breakdown of the crying and things, it was like my needing of like actually expressing myself, actually like sharing that. And it was interesting that maybe I wasn't able to express myself in the venue in that situation, because poetry slamming has never really connected me to like that tearful, emotional, powerful aspect of what poetry means to me. Like a lot of times when I'm on poetry slams, it doesn't have that same. I have challenges connecting to my essence in terms of like my writing when it comes to poetry slams. So maybe that's kind of what it was. And then as I was walking out of the venue and being able to actually like cry and like let that out, and then I had all these people who were walking by, all of them women actually, asking me if everything was okay and that kind of stuff. And I was able to like answer being like, no, like I'm totally fine. I just needed to cry. Like, thank you for your support and that kind of stuff. But I think that also had to do with Silva and Annie as well too. It was like as if because they walked in with me and they were there with me to a certain extent, even physically they weren't with me anymore. I felt like I had the support of like the people around me. I didn't feel like I was needing new people to like me or like help me or whatever. I had people who like loved me and cared for me and they were there for me, you know, and that to me meant a lot. Like I felt so much stronger and empowered and connected because of that. And being able to like answer that way, I think that was a showcase of like a bit of a shift in my life, you know, like I've spent so much time in venues sharing my work, my performance work that I've created for other people a lot of times. And then this moment was my moment, you know, like even if it was, and even the poem that I had shared that was about therapy and Natalie, my therapist, and like my past and challenges and that kind of stuff. There was like a tearful, emotional moment as well too, you know. So it was so interesting that this dream happened, and then I ended up actually going into the poetry slam, and like there was like this tearful, emotional moment at the end of the poem. And I was able to walk out of that and feeling as if I was like, I had a good cry or I had like a good experience in that way. And that meant a lot to me, you know, and being able to actually talk about this with my therapist was amazing. And she actually asked me an interesting question. She asked me, was that an important detail that it was all women that were walking by and they were the ones who were checking up on me? And I think it does. I think that the relationship that I've had with women, there has been a lot of the secondary type one where I was like, they would check in on me or whatever, and it was very surface, and I would like kind of put on a show and be like, oh yeah, it would be great if you like were able to sympathize with me, or like they could have like held me at that moment or whatever. And that's something that I was always needing or seeking previously. And then this time being able to actually say no to them and be like, no, I'm okay, and like actually meeting it and actually feeling strength in that. I think that meant a lot to me. And it's not that like I'm not continuing obviously with the relationships I have with women. At the same time, it's like understanding kind of the psyche behind it and why the experience ended up that way. So yeah, it was so interesting to experience that and feel that way. And being able to come out on the other side and be able to speak to my therapist about it. And after writing it all down, that's something that I'm really interested in. Some of the other dreams that I was having. Um, I kind of feel like oh, this is so interesting. Actually, I didn't even read this back, but this is the next dream that I wrote down. So I actually wrote these right after I had the dreams, and I didn't even end up. So beginning of the new year, coming back during my tryouts for dance or cheer squad, I told I'm being let go right before the final tryout. They want to get into it, but I need to leave, so I'm not taking away from those trying out. Not fair to them, so I leave the tryout. Feel like I need to go back, blend into the school background on my way back to the tryout. So that's so weird. Like I honestly didn't like look at the this previous to this, and like the idea of like the people that I was talking about being part of like a cheerleading squad or that kind of stuff, like that's so random or weird that maybe there's connected somehow. I'm not exactly sure what this cheer squad situation was. I'm probably gonna have to take some time to reflect on what it was, the idea of rejection. I did get um, cut from two different sports teams that I really wanted to be a part of when I was a kid. So maybe that was it. I did get cut from football. I really wanted to be a receiver in terms of catching the ball from the quarterback and stuff, because I always like had pretty good eyes and pretty strong with my hands eye coordination. But I was also tiny. So in high school, at that point when I had done that, I didn't hit my growth spurt yet. So I was probably 15 at the time, maybe 16. And I was like probably 5'4". So it's like hard to play football when you're so tiny. And then on top of that, I also tried out, and I was still short as well, for the basketball team. And I had a really good shot, especially from the free throw line. But I didn't really know much about basketball in general. So like all the drills and things like that, I was like, what the hell is going on? So maybe this has to do connected with like the idea of like rejection, or like kind of like more classic type sports, or that type of entity and things like that. So coming from my childhood and experiencing that type of rejection, it's thinking a little bit or connecting a little bit about my regular life and how like I am disconnected from like what regular norms would be in terms of like, especially in culturally, like I don't look like the regular Chinese person, and I don't look like what is expected of me for my family and things like that. So it's like a little bit stepping outside of like and accepting that and allowing other people to play and do what it is that they're experiencing. That's kind of what I like took in from this specific dream that I was having at that time. So yeah, but those both like had a lot of meaning, I would say, and like especially the first one, being able to actually analyze that with Natalie today was just like very powerful, and like really made me think about like how important it is. And I think the main thing that I learned from this analysis today was the idea that how important and valuable it is for us to allow our subconscious to communicate to our like actual consciousness. Like my regular life is so connected to my subconscious, especially we spend so many hours sleeping. It's like there's so many messages that are being told to us or shared with us, or even physical experiences that even though our bodies aren't experiencing that, like our minds and our spirits and our connections of that it's happening. It's the experience is happening, So I think it's important for me to allow the bridge to be built between the two. And like and that's one of the things. I haven't been smoking weed for a while, and like it hasn't been blurring out my dreams in that way. So I'm allowing my dreams to like kind of speak to me in that way, and being able to analyze them and connect to them. It's going to help me with reflection of that. So I definitely am excited about that. To do a little bit more of that, I think in the future is going to be something that is going to be very beneficial for myself. And I also am super interested in other people's dreams and like breaking them down and like talking about what their experiences are. Anybody out there who is wanting to share their dreams and things like that, like whether it's actually your goals in life or the dreams that you have in your subconscious when you're sleeping, like these are all things that should be shared, and we should be constantly building networks of people who are able to share their philosophical connections to their sense of self and their growth. So that's something that really excites me, and that I'm interested in for sure. So I'm gonna go on to our next segment. It's going to be the poem of the day. So let's see where we're at in terms of the poem of the days. So Okay. So last time I read one that was about they had the issue with art, right? So and then so this one, here we go. So usually, if you've seen any of these vlogs before, what happens is I choose the poem of the day, and then it ends up being somehow really directly connected to what I've already spoken about. It just seems to happen that way. We will see if that happens today, but I'm 8 for 8, it seems, and every time I've been surprised by like, wow, how did that connect? So this was day 16, National Poetry Month. It's like also honoring the work that I did previously in the month of April. So like past me is trying to like hook my present me with a little bit of love and a little bit of insight. So here we go. Feeling restless, preparing mentally, emotional woefully to move again. Pack up and on the road, driving myself back to my past, confronting demons I left behind. Years ago, I was heading, believing, seeing. Tower over, going, under, drowning, departing, capsizing boat, overwhelm. Reason to leave, learn to breathe, my own independence, I found my place. Share my grace, Toronto, my home, full grown. Now I'm leaving, reseeding, hairline fracture, fear consumes my thoughts, heart beats irregularly, returning to sight of the crime. It will all be fine. Catching my breath, I look for consistency, to ground my thoughts. Floating away are my uncertainties, tingling extremities. I work so poorly in adverse conditions. When the stress turned up, weight of expectation, my decision making, crash bang, broken strength, words spoken, arms wide open. Closing in, reaper grim, death of my freedom. Remember it's briefly, move discreetly, no need for show, the chance to grow. Reviewing a tough film, uncomfortable first time around, but I must have missed something. So I pop the VHS tape in and the video begins. It's a home movie, shows happy moments. Remembering behind the scenes, the effort made, what we gave, all that we've overcome as a family together. Shifting perspective, propriety, anxiety, consuming moments, delivering ups and downs, breath through, breathe through, knowing that I am needed. All the work I've done, reminding everyone, strength comes from love, finding the gratitude, guiding the altitude, highest peak light I seek, embracing a worried heart, the Tai Chi, guiding martial art, the gentle movements, body flowing, patience glowing, flora growing, seedling planted, kindergartening. Toronto is my perennial, hometown annual. Hands dirty, uncovering roots, both living cohesively, nurturing the beautiful yard, balancing past, present, building into the future. When this playback finishes, be kind, rewind, and the answers we will find. Yes. Okay, wow. Yes, there has been lots of confronting demons from my past and like thinking about hometown life and the challenges of where I came from. I definitely think that that is directly connected with the dream that we were talking about, the idea of like walking back into nostalgia, going back into the past, like connecting to something that I guess there was a bit of fears from and that made me cry in that way, which was really intense. Definitely connecting to Toronto and Markham and like my life here in the GTA has been so fruitful and really is my home, and connecting to that. The idea of catching my breath, I look for consistency. That is something that's like very much like important, you know, taking the time to like breathe through and like connect to that and just being consistent, you know, like not just with other people, but with myself. And that's something that I'm learning all the time. Like I'm always being shown how important it is to be consistent with the people close to you, as well as myself, you know, showing up every day and being open to it. And even if like the showing up is not doing things or not completing things or not like finishing, going through the finish line and that kind of stuff, it's like there is still showing up for it. You know, you have to be present for it. And that's something that I've been really grateful for. I've been really lucky that I've gotten the opportunity to do that, but it's not always the same. Like some days it's so hard, right? The idea, floating away are my certainties, tingling extremities. Like the idea of like how like present I am and I know that this is what I want to be doing, it's still like it's hard. It's not easy, you know, like it's like painful sometimes. So it's just constantly making sure that I'm taking the time to reflect on like my growth and making sure that I am putting my energy and my effort into the things that I am committing to in that way. So yeah, this poem was very important. I think, you know, the idea of being able to see the both sides of everything as well, and like embracing like my embracing a worried heart, Tai Chi guiding martial art, like the idea of like connecting to the things that did bring smoothness and softness and light in that way. You know, Tai Chi is a very powerful martial art that is able to like do that, and there is like a flow to it. And interestingly enough about Tai Chi as well, if you don't know much about it, it's a martial art where a lot of the movements are like they're very graceful and it's like very push and pull and flow in that way. At the same time, like when you are to use it as self-defense, you would use it at a different speed than what it is that you were practicing it in that way. So that's so interesting for philosophy and growth in that way, is that maybe that's what we're doing. We're taking the time that we need and we're flowing at our own pace of what we're needing to be at. But then when the actual situations come forward and we're needing to step up and be able to be present for it, everything might be happening at a way quicker pace. At the same time, because we've practiced the fundamentals of it so much, just like Tai Chi, we're able to step forward and be able to like do it with power and do it with strength and do it with grounded certainty. So that's a very cool concept of being able to like connect Tai Chi to like actual mental health and like the flow inside of it all, and taking the time that you need. Excuse me. Yeah. So that's really cool to be able to like connect to this poem. And yeah, it's awesome to be able to see. And I also respect the idea that some people believe that it's like astrology, you know, it's like if you say or believe it enough to a certain extent, it'll just be like, it'll all connect if you were looking for the connections in that way. But like, also I am looking for those connections. I am looking for that openness of that, because that is what has guided me for a long time in my life, and seeing the connections of that has really been enlightening for me, and I'm really grateful for it. So at this time, what I'm actually feeling that I'm supposed to be doing, I feel like I'm supposed to share this poem from last week. So I did mention previously that I was on this poetry slam, and that was like super interesting to experience that. But we cut down one of the poems that, and it's actually about my therapist, and me seeing my therapist today, as well as I think that this is an important one. I did share it earlier in the week, but I think that it is important to add in all of the changes that we had made. And so yeah, I'm just gonna share this, and then we'll move forward into the next segment. So, waiting for the door to open. Oh, by the way, just trigger warning, anybody out there. It does have like situation of like child abuse inside of the later on in the poem. Okay. Waiting for the door to open. Breathing in psychology today. She peeks her face out, welcoming me. Hi, Anto. Waving me in. She is a gentle breeze, pointing to the seat. Therapy with surgery, self-work, rehab. My soul, a rolled ankle in the first 5 minutes of your first game with the Boston Celtics. Shitty shout out Gordon Hayward. She tells me it's okay to give random references. Okay that I smoke weed. Okay to not be okay. I tell her I don't want to be okay. I want to be happy. She says happy comes and goes. So does sad, but it's up to me what I hold on to. I've never had someone speak to me like I'm in control of my life. She tells me I don't need to be so hard on myself, to break myself down or feel not as successful as my brother. I thank her for her time over and over again, not needing her to believe I'm sincere. She shows me my own strength when I'm not holding myself down. I blame myself. Not man enough, not husband enough, not father enough to build the life she dreamt of. Suddenly, I'm sitting alone, looking at the 16-cube shelf we assembled, half empty. I wanted to destroy it. There's no rest when unpacking nightmares. Before my grandfather's passing, he was reaching for me. I ran from him. My legs always seemed to fail me. Number 2, shout out Gordon Hayward. She doesn't push me to go deeper. Instead, she asked me about my mother. What was that relationship like? It's great now, we meet up, go for dim sum. She definitely wishes I was doing something more serious, like an adult job, but it's sweet to see her. What about your relationship before? She notices when I'm avoiding her question. I think back. I was supposed to be perfect, too messy, jagged, unfocused, to fit her precise goals that would make us all happier. If I could just try a little harder in Chinese school, in soccer, in piano, in taekwondo, I always put the extra in extracurricular. I couldn't keep it in, doors slammed, unhinging, never had closure, every knock on my body, the reminder of who I am not enough, alone, laying in my bed with more bruises strikes against me, pain, anger, coping, self-blame. Pain, anger, coping, self-blame. Pain, anger, coping, self-blame. I was just a child. She tells me nothing this time. She sits patiently as I wipe every tear. I look at her, hoping she'll say, it's gonna be okay. When will you forgive yourself? Anything. She says, little you has been through a lot. I say, I have, but I'm here now. The Sherpa to my mindset mountain. She smiles and says, we're gonna have to end for today. As I leave, I feel better about being me, accepting that okay is progress too. There's a lot to unpack on that one, but it was the progress, the progression, the work that I've done with my therapist, and being able to capture that in like an actual poem, like was so powerful. And I was so lucky. It all came out like at the same time. Thank you so much, Christia. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it was such a valuable piece because it was like the progression of my therapy journey. In the beginning I was talking about my ex and like when we had broken up. That's why I first went and I first like started going to therapy. And then I started talking about my grandfather and how I always felt like I like ran from him when he was like passing away and he was so sick, and I like was afraid to like hold his hand because I couldn't accept like that he was like passing away. And then it went into like connecting with my mom and like the challenges that I had growing up and like those pains and like. But the thing that's so powerful about poetry is like you could only speak about these things, especially on stage, especially like in public with other people, when you are like fully working on this and when you are fully obviously it goes in ups and downs and whatever, but if you are truly taking the time and the energy to work on this, to be able to openly share about this stuff, that is such a powerful thing. And it's one of the things that I always connect to, the concept of like vulnerability being our superpowers. Like the more I am able to be vulnerable about my past and the challenges that have happened previously, the stronger that I feel when I'm sharing my art. It's like this incredible base of belief in myself, because like look how far we've come. Like it's a constant reminder of the work and the energy and the time that we put into building ourselves as artists from such a challenging upbringing or whatnot. And it's the thing is like there's also so much beauty to like my childhood as well too. So I never want it to be like, oh, this is the only thing that is what happened in it. There's so much love and there's so much care, and like especially where we're at now, like that's why I feel so confident talking about this stuff, is because of how connected and beautiful my relationship is with my family. And like I was actually able to have the conversation about like my growing up and the challenges that I had with my parents, and I sat them down and had like a serious conversation about it, and they accepted it and they apologized, and they were like it was such an important step in my mental health as well too, to be able to have that type of closure in terms of like a lot of times it just I was in denial, or I didn't even realize like how much it affected me. And the connection to abandonment issues that I had as well too were all like interconnected with that as well. So it was just so powerful to be able to have family members who were reciprocating that, and it took a lot of strength. Like we all put on our adult pants and we're just like, yo, this is important, this is real, this is like very challenging, but at the same time we're getting through it together. And that was right before it was amazing. It was like right around the same time as my niece was born and stuff, and it was like healing that part of my childhood was like helping my parents step forward and become the best like grandparents that they can be, hopefully, anyways. And I want them to know that we can have challenging conversations as long as it's like for the best of the family, you know. And that's like that to me is what it's all about, you know. Like this family means everything to me, and to be able to like be the strongest that I possibly can is a big part of it, has to do with my family as well too. You know, I want to be able to have those challenging conversations, let them know that like even though we're bringing up things that are very challenging or emotionally draining or like painful, it doesn't mean that I'm wanting to accuse them or hurt them in any way. I'm actually doing that to help my family heal. And this is like a intense thing too, because it's intergenerational trauma that's like being passed down to us as well too. It's not things that some of the stuff I wasn't even around for. I wasn't even like born yet, and they were part of the traumas that they might have experienced, and that they're giving like down to their children as well too. And that's going to happen to our children. And that was something that my therapist talked to me about today. She was saying how like, you know, we think that we're going to have everything solved or like worked out on our own, and then we're ready for having kids. And it's like, no matter what work you're doing, when you have kids, shit's different. You know, your traumas like pop up way differently. Your patience is challenged in a very different way. So it's like, no matter how much Tai Chi you could be doing, if you're faced with an MMA situation and you mixed martial arts and someone just punching you in the face, like it might be very different than like you being able to like practice the Tai Chi and like the mindset of that stuff. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna not do that. I just have to also be aware that it's gonna be completely different when that actually happens. And people ask me all the time, they're like, oh, are you gonna have kids and things? Like the best way I would answer it is that I've always looked forward to having kids, but I'm in no hurry to do it. You know, like I'm looking forward to when it happens, but there's no rush at this time, you know, like you know, pull out game still strong. No, oh, that's inappropriate. But yes, it's like still being very aware of, you know, what it is that I am wanting in that way. But I knew that my mental health has to be like the priority, and it's very focused. And it was interesting, even today, like I messaged someone on Instagram. I had like added her from like a dating app or something like that. And then I continued following her, and she like just like shared such like really private, like personal thing about like her mental health, and like shared with all of the people who are following her like her exact like what has been diagnosed with her mental illness and stuff like that. And it was just like I was so inspired by it, and I was like, man, like I added this person to try and like maybe date them or whatever, and then instead I'm like here for the mental health, and being able to actually express that to them and be like thanking them for their sharing and that kind of stuff. That's like was so important for me too, to show myself that like mental health and like the work that I'm doing on myself right now is more valuable than me trying to get into another relationship or like put myself in a situation that I'm not prepared for. So that's been really awesome. And so I'm really happy about that. Yeah, so it's just been such like I know there's a lot, and it was a lot of philosophy, a lot of like emotions, a lot of like weight, but at the same time, like this stuff is so valuable for me to be able to share. And hopefully it's valuable for you guys as well too, to be able to like kind of see my personal, I guess, processing of everything that's happening in my life, and just being able to express this on a daily basis. It just feels like the vlogs have been my diary in a certain way, which I really am appreciative of. That's where I am able to grow, and I am able to learn a lot. But don't think I'm going to end this without doing my favorite segment of the vlogs. Here we go, people. We are going to go into our next one. The things that we have found in my grandmother's closet. So here we go, guys. We got some new items. Oh, man, this looks like a very summer sweater. Here we go. Here we go. This is a jockey sweater. It's a very yellow. Is this canary yellow, I think it's called? Yes, that's what it is. It can go over certain things. Very nice. Okay, very nice. All right, here we go. What else do we got here? Okay, we got a sweater. Is this the right bag? Give me a second here. No, this is not the right bag. This is the right bag. Okay. Okay, here we go. We got a random dress from Sunner Fine Wear. It has. This is a very old school looking dress. I don't know. This looks like a very olden times. I don't even know what year this was made. It's really long too. It keeps going. Very long, long dress. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. We got a blue. Wow, this one is really cool. I feel like someone would love this one. It is a blue. It's very frilly. So it is a size 6 from Secotine Paris. And it is made in Hong Kong, 100% polyester. All right. It's pretty cool. It is also a dress, the full dress. This one's really nice. I'm not sure if anybody wants that one. You're welcome to grab that. This is also some type of fancy shirt. That's how you know I don't know shit about this. Look, it's a fancy shirt. Look at this. It's very nice. Oh, yeah. Bedazzling, I guess. And then this is a, I don't even know what brand this is. Someone might have made this. No, probably not. Okay, but it is long. So if you want that, check this out. Okay. All right. Pretty good. Okay, we're going to do a couple more. Oh, we got a nice scarf. Oh, I like the scarf. Oh, it's like a big scarf too. Yo, I might keep this one. This one I might keep. Look at this. Oh, yeah. Oh, Chrisia, this might be scary for you now that I'm telling you this. My grandmother passed away in August, and this was all items that she was giving away to the donations, and then so they were just gonna toss it all. So then I was just like, oh, I should just like go through this and share it with people if anybody wants any of this stuff. So I probably should have told you guys that. I have been talking about that, but yeah, my grandmother passed in August, so I live in her house now, and which I'm so grateful for. I was so lucky. I actually could tell you about that moment. They were all in the hospital, and then they asked my grandma. Oh yeah, I know. It was really hard, but she was like amazing lady. But she loved me very much. I know that because they asked her, out of everybody in the family, they were like, who do you want to live in your house? And then she's like, Ming. That's me, right? And then everybody was like, what? Like, there's so many family members. Who do you want? It's it, because I lived in Toronto and I like didn't have, I was renting and stuff. I didn't buy a house yet, so the whole family, they're all like, what the, this is crazy. And a lot of this stuff isn't just my grandma's. It was also like family members who were finished with the clothes. They all gave it to my grandma, and then it was just like piled up, and then they were going to get rid of it as well. So yes, I have those put aside for you, Christia. The size 29 jeans, the Guess ones. Don't worry, I got you. See, this is not, this is all, I actually listen to you guys, and I appreciate you coming out. So this is like, it looks kind of like a wedding dress to a certain extent. That's how little I know about fashion, but it is like a nice dress, I guess. It's very white. All right. And then, okay, we're going to do two more. We're going to do two more. This one's so intense, so I think this is necessary. More dresses. Size 14. Size 14. And then it is, looks like a couch, like a bad couch, you know, like those really faded, greeny, like, and it is New Horizons, made in Canada. And it's got the shoulder pads too. Anybody want this one? I don't know why anybody would want this one. Oh, look at this belt. Yo, this is so 80s. This is so 80s. This one's great. All right, we'll pick one more. We have to outdo the ridiculousness of the last one. Oh my god, this is all from the same person for sure. They were obsessed with this look. If you didn't see, they were all the same. They're all from the 80s. Look at this one. What is going on with this one? The same shoulder pads. Let's see. This one was made by Niba Paris. All right, cool. And then it also has a belt that's directly attached to it as well. This one's a little bit fancier, so yeah, this is crazy. So ridiculous. All dresses this time pretty much. Big shout out to all the anybody out there who wants any of these ones. Let me know. Message me. I'll save these. I'll put them aside like I did for Chrisia. Big shout out. Thank you for coming out and supporting. It means a lot to me that you're able to come out and yeah, basically listen to me talk about like my life and the challenges and the the successes, and just constantly being able to put myself in the position to hopefully inspire other people to be able to express themselves and share parts of themselves that they felt more hesitant about too. You know, they're like, yo, if this guy, if this maniac could do it, then why wouldn't I be able to do it? So that's really important. And I realized that that's part of my job is like, is to be able to be the first sometimes to do certain things. Like even in when I first started performing in Toronto, one of the things that I started doing was like trying to connect like the comedy and the poetry worlds, and saw like the value of that kind of stuff, and as well as like the different art forms together. And like I'm always trying to think of new ways to be able to empower all the different art forms, to be able to just realize like, yo, we're all artists, we're all just creating, we're all just trying to express ourselves. Let's just make stages that empower us and make us better. And that's really what Free Flow Showcase, the show that I've been working on, is all about, you know? So anybody out there who wants to check that out, at Free Flow Showcase, we're always doing like events and stuff. We're doing one on Sunday with Red Door Family Shelter, and we're going to be raising money for that. We have an auction going on for that, and then I'm going to be hosting it with Veronica Antipolo, as well as Chrissy is actually on that show as well too during the 6-hour segment, and then Free Flow's on there as well too. So thank you guys again for paying attention and coming out and showing up. Just like I mentioned earlier today, that's one of the hardest things, is actually showing up and being present. That's something that I want to do every single day this month till the 25th. I'm going to show up. I'm going to do my best. Even when some days are hard. This last week, there's been multiple days that were super hard. I was anxious about it all day. I woke up anxious, and then like I was getting anxiety all the way up until I started the stream. And then, but I found a very beautiful connection to sharing, and I think that has helped me a lot actually with this week. So thank you guys for being there and listening, and just being present with me, and actually showing up. So all right, take care. I'll see you guys next time. I'll see you tomorrow at 11:30.